Hello ROS developers, and welcome again to a new video about how to develop with ROS. If you want to learn anything about ROS, this is your channel. ROS navigation, ROS with drones, and ROS for autonomous cars. Everything ROS is here. Learn ROS step by step with our channel and by using only 10 minutes videos. I am Ricardo, and today we are going to answer this question that I found that ROS answers. That it's about the problem that what is happening by launching the PR2 Gazebo simulation, why it doesn't shows, why it fails to be launched. But before anything else, let me remind you about the Robot Ignite Academy. That is our online academy where you will find practical online ROS courses using simulated robots and doesn't require any installation. So you can start from scratch with your web browser, and you will find a link to the academy on the video description. Now, let's go to the question that we want to answer. In this question, Catherine, she has a problem while launching the PR2 empty wall simulation. She has many errors here. Actually, there are warnings. And then the end result is that there is a core dumped and then the simulation crashes. Okay, so let's go step by step. I'm going to show the answer for this question, but many of the things that I am showing here applies to other robot gazebo simulations. It also, you can apply that also. So here you can see that there are many warnings here about the input topic not yet advertised. Okay, so this is actually, it's just a warning and it's not an error. I think that is a bad synchronization between different parts. So this part in the process of the launching of the simulation is waiting for some topics to be there that they are still not there. So it's just letting you know that is waiting for those topics and it will wait until they appear there. Then afterwards you have a problem in configuration files here, but again, this is a problem that it's just a warning, it's not an error. So neither those nor these ones are errors that will make crashes simulation. So you can improve that in order to prevent those warnings, of course, but it's not the cause of the crashing. So now we go to the final part here where it says core dumped, and then there is another warning that says that the spawner couldn't reach the PR2 controller manager. Okay, that's an error. That is very important, and that I see many times on many simulations where the simulation cannot load the controllers of the robot. So I think that that's the case for Catherine. So let's see how we can solve this. Okay, so for that, I'm going to use, as always, the ROS Development Studio that you can access for free at rds.theconstructsim.com and start developing like I am doing here today. So what I'm going to do is to launch the simulation and see what is happening when it really happens. It really works. So let's go to Tools and open a shell. And then let's use the command that she has posted here, ROS launch PR2. So I'm going to copy and paste it here on the shell. And then we should see that the simulation starts. Okay, so here the PR2 simulation is loading. It's taking a while because it's a complex simulation. And then we'll see here also the focal length warning that she was getting, so is there also. And then at some point in time we are going to see how the controllers of the robot are, well, actually it's here. So it's loading the controllers here, and then it thinks that it looks like it's getting correctly, and yeah, a little bit more of controllers, exactly. So that's it. Okay, so the simulation is not shown here because we need to open the gazebo window. So let's go there. But the simulation is already running. This is just a visualization. So if we go to the gazebo, here it is, the PR2 robot. And we can see that the simulation has been correctly spawned. And here we have the PR2. Okay, we need some lights here, but it's okay. So it's the robot with the controllers doing control there. Okay, so far so good. So it's working. So if it's not your case, what can you do in order to see what is happening? Okay, so the first thing is to see if your controller manager is working there. So for that, you can open a new shell. Let's check it, okay? And let's see if there is a controller manager there. And for that, the controller manager, when it's running, it's providing a service that we can check if it is there. So let's launch the command that is just to ask the system, the ROS system, for a ROS service list. And then let's grep for controller manager, because there are many services there. So let me just look for a specific controller manager, and we can see that there are several. So here is the controller manager for the PR2. So it's loading, and if you reach that point in your check for the error of your simulation, then you are going okay. So you means, do you have launched properly the controller manager? That's correct. Great. Then the other thing is next thing is to check if it is loading the controllers. For that, we are going to ask this service which controller types does it has. So let's call the ROS service call to that specific service, and going to copy and be. And those are the types that it has. It can recognize, of course. And another thing is that we can ask which controllers it has loaded. Controllers, yeah. Okay, and those are the controllers that it has loaded now, the controller manager. So we know here that the controller manager is running, that it can recognize the following types, and that it has loaded these controllers now. So that's the case for the case when the simulation is working, of course, but it may be that is not your case because there are some problems. So what can be happening here? Well, the first thing is that you need to check that you have installed the proper controller packages of ROS and Gazebo. So I have divided the proper packages into two groups. One is the Gazebo-ros-controllers that you need to have installed in your system, and the second one is the robot-specific controllers, in this case for the PR2 controllers. Okay, so let me show you here which ones you should have installed. Okay, so we can now test if those controllers are installed. I mean, the packages that provide those controls are installed in our system. For this, we can use the dpkg -l command and then do a grep for the word of ROS control. So if you do this in your system, and then you have to have installed the following packages. First, this one, ros-kinetic-ros-control. This is mandatory. Then another one is this one, ros-kinetic-ros-controllers. Those are the first ones that you need to have installed in your system. Then this is basic for the ROS controllers that affect to ROS and control. Now let's look for others that you need to have installed that are the Gazebo-ROS control related packages. So for that, we are going to use the same command, and then instead of you looking for ROS control, we are going to look for Gazebo-ROS. So if you apply this command, you have to have this package installed, ros-kinetic-gazebo-ros and ros-kinetic-gazebo-ros-control. Those are mandatory for making your simulation work. Then what else? Now we need to other packages that you need to have in for making controllers work in the simulation are the controller interfaces. So let's also look and check for the packages that are called controller. And well, here we have a lot of them. Then what I am looking specifically is for the controller interface. So let me check for those. So this package here, ros-kinetic-controller-interface. and then the controller manager. Look for that, and then check that you have the ros-kinetic-controller-manager and the ros-kinetic-controller-manager messages. You can see that there are many others, manager and controller manager and controller interfaces. Don't worry about that. The ones that I am indicating here are the ones that you must have in order to make your simulation work. Okay, so we are about to finish with the specific ROS control packages that you need to know. Final one is the type of controllers that you have to install. So for that we have joint controllers, effort controllers, and velocity controllers. So let's check if those packages are here. And for that we need to look for the joint state controller. So this is the one that you have to have installed in your system, ros-kinetic-joint-state-controller. And then also joint trajectory-controller. So we have the, let me see, ros-kinetic-joint-trajectory-controller. This one, you need to have that installed. Also, finally, we have the effort controllers. Actually, I don't know if looking for controllers only will do it. Well, there are a lot of them. Okay, so yeah, so no, let's look for effort controllers, less crowded output. So you have to have this output here, this package installed, and finally the velocity controllers. So this is in general for any gazebo simulation of any robot. So then you should have all those packages that I have mentioned installed in your system in order to be able to launch the simulation and don't get this error here, like the spinner couldn't reach the controller manager. Okay, so in order to avoid that error, you should have all that. Now we are about to finish, but we need to indicate the specific controllers packages for the PR2, in this case for that question that we are looking at. So for that we have a set of packages that we need to check that are related to PR2, and then those packages are the following. Have a look here. It's the PR2 controller manager. So let me show here. So you need to have this PR2 controller manager. Then you have to have the PR2 controller interface, that is here, controller interface. Then you have to have the PR2 controller configuration gazebo. Yeah, okay, yes, it's this one, the ros-kinetic PR2 controllers messages. So, oh, okay, so it's here. I couldn't see it here on the previous one. Okay, yeah, okay, correct. So those are the ones that you need to have for controllers of the PR2. And then the final thing that you need to have installed are the PR2 mechanisms. So you have to check that you have the following packages installed about the mechanisms. So those are the ros-kinetic PR2 mechanisms controllers, then the PR2 mechanism diagnostics, the mechanism model, and the mechanism messages. So all of them, they need to have to be installed in your computer. And if you have all of them installed, then you will be able to launch your robot, your specific here PR2 in this case that we are watching here, and then check that you have everything working, and use movie to move the robot, navigation, and whatever you are interested on watching or moving or using this PR2 robot. Okay, guys, so that's all for today. In the description of the video, you will find a complete course about ROS controls that you can learn a lot more about how the controllers work in simulations. And also you will find some resources mentioned in the video, like the question and other information. And if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to our channel and press the bell because we are publishing a new video every day. Then if either you like it or not, please share your thoughts and questions in the comments area beneath the video. Thank you and hasta la vista.